I believe voice reveals a lot about the person, not only when you are performing, presenting, or acting, but from voice, we can hear the emotion, the vitality of a person, whether the person means something or not meaning something. It is, first of all, is also driven by our breath, which is power. So we use voice to connect and communicate, or even disconnect. And most importantly, the more I work on voice, the more I find out voice is our power. Whenever we speak, we are using our power, whether you like it or not. And I noticed the importance of using our power well.
So welcome, Billy.
Thank you, Natalie.
Welcome to Ambitious and Unconventional.
Yeah.
I'm smiling because this feels a bit ambitious and unconventional.
Yes, I know, right?
In this like studio space.
Yes, very equipped, very well set up.
Yeah. And yeah, this is new for me. So the interviews that I've done, I started out this interview series as a written article series many years ago, and then in the last year I've been interviewing people on YouTube, and normally not in the same location. So I'm loving that you're here in Hong Kong, and we can actually do this in person with all this fancy equipment.
Yes, and thank you for having me in such a nice place.
I know. So Billy, I'll say a few things about just to kind of introduce the conversation and just like how we know each other.
Yeah.
And then we'll just get into it. So we met probably over 10 years ago. It was about 10 years ago, wasn't it? We were doing
It was about 10 years ago.
Yoga teacher training.
Yes.
With Mas Vidal from Miami. And I think we've both followed a thread of embodiment and being curious about how we live in the body, but from different perspectives.
Yes.
So you're also an actor in Hong Kong and a voice coach.
Yeah.
And teacher of acting.
Yes.
So I'm curious about your take on many different things, but also just kind of a little bit of your story. So
yes.
Where shall we start?
Shall we start from yoga, because that's how we met? And although I'm now not a yoga teacher, but yoga is still a big part of my life. And it's great that you mentioned embodiment, because that's what craft is about. You know, for no matter what you do as an actor, as a voice teacher, that's mainly what I teach, craft. And it's the embodiment of it that could let you forget about it at the end. And it's the embodiment of your craft that sets you free and you really help you to pursue your creative goals and dreams, really.
I love this notion of like the embodiment of your craft is what sets you free.
Yeah.
Well, why don't we start with a kind of question that I ask many people, and this may be a segue from what you've just shared. What are you ambitious about?
I am ambitious about serving humanity with my full potential. Yes, I know that sounds very big, but I do believe everyone has something special to give. And we are in the process of constantly finding out what we are capable of, you know, and finding out what our potentials are. Yeah.
I don't think it sounds big at all. And I think that it's a way we kind of minimize our potential and our bigness. So how do you not do that? And what are the ways in which you do aim to serve others through your biggest potential?
I think, first of all, being a lifelong learner is essential. By that, I don't mean you have to necessarily take a course or enroll yourself in different program or do a master degree or any sorts of that. But having the awareness of what you want to build on at this moment of your life. For example, when I was in my early 20s, my only goal was to be an actor. I went to drama school. I was so ready when I graduated from drama school. But then, of course, life takes turns, and then I moved back to Hong Kong. Luckily, I was acting still. But then I found myself more and more interested in the body, mind, spirit integration. So I pursue yoga, and at the same time, I got the opportunity to coach and teach. And because I did a little bit of voice work, I did musical theater, so I found out I was constantly using my voice. And I did learn a great deal from my work experience. Then I found out, oh, maybe voice is something that I would really love to focus on. And I do find my passion in voice. The more I'm willing to explore more about voice. So I end up training aspiring actors in voice.
And I do want to come back to voice. And
Yeah.
you've been helping me a little bit as well
Yes.
with my voice.
Yes.
And
We've
it's-
worked a little bit.
Yes, and it's a work in progress. I'm curious about the point that you said that you sort of became interested in mind, body, spirit. What do you? Is there a point in time or an event or anything that kind of opened that curiosity for you?
Yes. Most of the time were the times we had adversities in our lives. To be honest, there must be ups and downs, and at all the down points, you sort of get lost, you got confused, or when you're on the edge of giving up mostly, and you kind of think, oh, what am I doing? What am I actually giving up on? Or is there any other way? And I remember the reason I started yoga was because I was at a very frustrating point. And then there was a moment I thought to myself, oh, why should I allow myself to stick with this negativity? I would might as well just start something completely new. And the next day I signed up at the yoga center, and that's how I went back to yoga. I did a little bit of yoga when I was in drama school. I remember I liked it, but afterwards I was just focusing too much on my career, and I sort of forgot to take care of myself, basically. So once I found yoga, and it is pretty much integrated in acting and how I present myself and how I find the inner space in myself. So it started from yoga, the integration of body, mind, spirit, and how I apply it to my everyday life. Yes.
I love how yoga for so many people is it is a kind of gateway to, I guess in a way, self-discovery.
Yeah.
And almost, I think, I don't know if this is right, the word, but a kind of a sanctuary when you're going through something confusing or hard or uncertain in your life. Like I think yoga does kind of, it gives you structure, it gives you discipline, it gives you this expanded awareness of of who you are more than just
Yes.
your ambitions or your career or your
Yes.
whatever it is.
Yeah. I like the word sanctuary you mentioned. I think everyone has their own sanctuary in their lives, no matter what you do. The more I practice yoga or meditation and things, mindfulness practice in a way, the more I enjoyed solitude in my life. And for artists, because I know for ballet dancers, one ballet dancer told me when she's...
Belly as in like...
no, a ballet
ballet,
dance,
yeah.
ballet dancers.
Yeah.
When she's on the bar, practicing all the foundations, she is in her sanctuary, practicing, coming back to her craft. And for me, my vocal warm up before I teach and how I teach my students, when I we did a little bit of that when I pushed my hands against the wall, making a stance, feeling the breath going down to the center and dantian. And that is the moment I feel my body and how I feel the life going through my body. And that is, in a way, a sanctuary for me. So we've got different moments that we can go back to these sanctuary moments, really. Yeah.
Yeah, and with yoga, because we both did a teacher training to teach yoga, but have never really taught it. But I think, like me, it's still part of our life, and it's something that you can always go back to, like at home, or it weaves into your work, right?
Yes.
Like you say, with the pushing up against the wall and feeling it down to your dantian, and I have that similar experience with yoga. It's like and it's just so simple. It's always there.
Yeah.
You can always do a downward dog.
Yeah.
You can always just remember to be in mountain pose.
Yes.
You know, it's just so precious.
And very often, the simple things are the most profound because you can keep going back to it and you still find something new from it.
So tell me about you. What do you tell me about voice? Tell me about the voice. What do you believe about the voice?
I believe voice reveals a lot about the person, not only when you are performing, presenting, or acting, but from voice we can hear the emotion, the vitality of a person, whether the person means something or not meaning something. It is, first of all, is also driven by our breath, which is power. So we use voice to connect and communicate, or even disconnect. And most importantly, the more I work on voice, the more I find out voice is our power. Whenever we speak, we are using our power, whether you like it or not. And I noticed the importance of using our power well. You know, when it is your turn to speak, what you say could make or break someone, literally. And I learned this great craft from my dear teacher, Patsy Rodenberg. I'm still under training with her, under her teacher's training program. And not only she's got 50 plus years of experience in voice teaching, but her insights and her belief in humanity is massive. So learning under her, with her sharing her crafts and skills and her experience in teaching not only actors, but top athletes, you know, CEOs, leaders, I just gain so much from her, and I am practicing what I've learned from her every single day. And this notion of using our power when we speak is what she told us. And once I've heard it, it's been sticking with me all the time. And we have to be responsible for what we say, don't we? So yes, it embodies, the voice itself embodies a lot about ourselves. Yeah.
What are you implementing right now? So from her work, what is it that you're practicing right now as we speak?
There are a couple of things. First of all, craft, because craft sets us free. As an artist, we've got so many creative ideas that we want to execute and implement. But without craft, it limits ourselves. So I'm fortunate enough to teach in a Bachelor of Fine Arts program with a year 1, year 2, year 3. I've got a curriculum, it's very structured. But within the structured, I can practice teaching my students the craft they need every day, and also monitoring how they progress from year 1 to year 3. So that is very structured, but at the same time, not rigid, creative and professional aspect of my work, which I can really focus on. And at the same time, I also teach outside of drama school. For example, bankers. I taught barrister pupils who are about to go to their bar exam, I teach them presence and how they show up in the room and how their presence and breath could affect the way they speak and the way they use their voice. So, as I said, I would like to keep exploring what I can give and serve to humanity by voice. And me as an artist, I've got my own theater company and I do very experimental shows in which I cook in front of my audience and serve them food while I tell stories, and the food they eat is related to the stories I tell, and I also sing to them. So mixing all the five senses into one immersive experience is what I'm trying to do. And the voice is essential. Voice is just one way to let the audience in, but how it blends with the other senses is an art itself.
I haven't seen your show, but I am just amazed about how you can perform, cook,
Yes.
project, sing all at one time is amazing. It's really interesting because what you describe is, to me, it's what we call in coaching is using self as instrument. And to use self as instrument, you have to be, it's like any instrument, I guess. You have to look after it well, fine tune it, you know, really be connected to ourselves and our sense of, and our senses and our sense of who we are. So it's really interesting that using self as instrument is a thread, I think, for both.
Yes. And from time to time, we need to reignite our passion and refine and retune our instrument, really.
Oh, yeah.
I think going for adventures, you know, like traveling, meet different people, meeting people from all over the world and just talk to them, seeing what they could offer, how they share their lives, experience with others. I learn a lot. And having fun is important while we keep ourselves disciplined. So that is all about a balance, isn't it?
Yeah. That's what I love about you, Billy, is that you take what you do seriously and how you show up, but there's also a lightness and a playfulness to you. What about right now? What are you using, like as we speak right now? What are you practicing?
I am sensing my breath going down to my center, and I am feeling my body supported by the chair and the floor. I love the sense of safety, really. I think who doesn't? I learned that when we feel that the chair and the floor are there to support us, you know, so we can really give our weight to the floor, and that instantly gave me a sense of safety. And it's a very good feeling. So I can be calm. I notice how my energy is running in my body, and I don't need to rush when I speak. So that gives me a sense of security.
You just reminded me, I had my legs crossed and I've uncrossed and just felt more the groundedness of both feet on the floor and my chair. And every time you talk about the breath, I'm remembering to...
Great. It's good to talk about these things out loud, isn't it?
Yeah, because it's going on in every moment, and we often forget because we're so concerned with the environment, what we're here to do, the other person, you know, how we look. And just bringing these present sensations to the moment allows us just to calm.
Yeah.
How do you work with, I'm relating to kind of my field and the people I work with. How do you work with somebody who is a banker or a leader or having to, working in a professional environment? What kind of things do you work with them on?
I mainly introduce the idea of presence. Again, this is the golden foundation that my teacher, Patsy, taught us. Without presence, you can't really do anything, really.
Well, you can, but...
You can, but, you know, not in a very mindful way.
Yeah.
So I think presence is hugely important at workplace. And you know, the pace in Hong Kong is just crazy, right? And we've got so much time in our head, aiming at deadlines, the meetings, the task right in front of us, all the emails and the phone. And just having 2 hours without looking at our phones and be present with a group of bankers in a room is such a precious time. And the idea of showing up for the group is beautiful. And of course, presence relates to how we place our body. You know, if we have our round shoulders, you know, chest drawing in and feeling down, energy going down, you just feel like you don't want to be here, or you look like you are being punished when you're in the room.
Just trying to,
Yeah,
disappear.
shrinking. Yes. So I first would introduce a neutral body alignment, bringing the idea of sending our breath to our center, and try not to have blockage in our body. For example, if someone's voice is constantly high, it might be because of they keep locking their knees a lot. And feeling the floor, supporting our body is very helpful sometimes. So showing up to the group and making eye contact. I find it, especially in Asian countries, making eye contact sometimes is very daunting for people. They think that, oh, making eye contact means that I need to do something. And the idea of seeing and gazing and staring are hugely different. So I would just ask them can you just see everyone in the group? I always start from a perfect circle, because in a perfect circle, everyone is equal. And in a perfect circle, ideally, we should be able to see everyone's face, and the space between every two people is the same. So there's a unity to start with. And very often I would ask the group, in terms of voice and communication, what do you think you're good at? I think that is very important. People so often focus on what they are not good at, but they, rarely think about what they're good at. So I need them to tell me what they think they're good at. And secondly, what would they like to work on? So that's already an icebreaker. And very, very often they find out, oh, I'm not alone in this. We're a human being and we share the same fear.
Yes.
Yeah.
Being seen
Yes,
and
being
seeing.
seen.
Yeah,
Yes.
that even just looking in another's eye in a circle is
Yeah.
like quite
It is.
daunting. I
It's
mean, I've
huge.
done it
Yeah.
many times and it's still
Yeah.
daunting. I'm curious, what do people say that they're good at in those environments, and what do they tend to say that they want to get better at?
They're good at structuring. A lot of people mention.
As in like structuring what they're going to say?
Yes, yes. Because a lot of people I met in workplace, they are professionals and they are very clever people. Intellectually, they are at a very high level already, but still they think that they're not enough. But, I think my job at the workplace is to bring them back to their body and breath rather than keep looping in their mind. And some people think that they speak very clearly, but they tend to rush what they say, and all sorts of things. But I heard that a lot of people mentioning, "Oh, I'm very good at delivering my points," but also when they got carried away, they sort of lose the direction and just keep going nowhere as they carry on. And that's one of the common things I've heard from my clients, my groups. Yeah.
It's quite it resonates with what comes up with people that I work with in professional environment, and often they will say they're very good at presenting when they're prepared, when they know what they have to say, and they're the expert on the topic. But when it comes to just off the cuff, it's quite, because it requires something different, and it requires kind of stepping out of that expertise,
Yes.
knowledge, structured thinking
Yes.
into something that's more authentic, more true.
Yes. And that fear could block what they have prepared. I've met people told me I'm actually so well prepared, but I don't know what happened when I went up on stage. Everything was lost, and I couldn't say what I prepared. And a lot of time is due to having irregular, shallow breath and not being able to bring the presence to the people you are speaking to because of fear. So bringing them back in the moment with a sense of groundedness and safety, psychological safety, I think is important. So knowing that you are
themselves.
safe in themselves,
Yeah.
yes. So that usually would have tremendous change already. And how we breathe. Breathing is so simple. We are doing it all the time. But most of us are not taking in a full breath when we breathe in. So one of the tricks I told them is that imagine you're also breathing into your back, because we are three-dimensional, the body. The lungs is not just at the front, we've got the back of the lungs as well. And just the sensation and imagination of your breathing into your back as well as the dantian already make them feel a big difference. And a lot of people, when they breathe in, they hold their breath like, and that makes you even more nervous.
Right.
So after you breathe in, there's suspension. You're still breathing in. You're lingering your breath. The life is still there. It's still running in your body. And when you speak, you breathe out. Yeah. So these sort of tiny tricks, again, which I learned from my teacher, Patsy, really help people from all walks of life.
Yeah. I remember we spoke about that, and that's something I forget is to speak on the out breath.
Yes.
Yes. I love that invitation to breathe into the back and the dantian, which is the kind of lower belly area.
Yes.
Because when we engage our back body, we kind of remember that we're whole, and when we're not just we're supported by ourselves and by energetically by people who've gone before us, and it just expands our sense of self, because we're so forward focused, we're so thinking about what's next, thinking about the screen in front of us, and so it that energy, if we're always in that front energy, we kind of get disconnected from our whole self.
Yes, it's about embodiment. It's about connecting to ourselves before we connect with others. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, but we're getting really nerdy now about embodiment, aren't we? One of the things that really helped me when we originally met, not originally met, but when we reconnected recently.
Yeah.
And we were talking about all of this and voice, and you asked me, you'd said to me that a big part of our voice is about being clear about the beliefs in which we're speaking from.
Oh, yes.
And you asked me to describe what I believed about my work. And I I think, reeled off some lengthy, convoluted sentence. And you said to me, think about the three things that you really believe about what you do, and why you do it. And it really resonated with me, and it really helped me go back and really clarify, the kind of pillars of my work, which is human growth, relationships, and embodiment. So having you ask me that question about these beliefs that I have about what I do, it clarified something for me that allowed me to speak about what I do or write about what I do in such a clearer way. And I noticed as I was sharing that with you, your eyes were like lighting up, and I was wondering what you were thinking as I was
and
sharing
it was the
that.
question when I asked you, what do you believe in, right? What are the three things you believe in, right? And I was just telling my students something similar yesterday, in acting training. in order to have your voice out and let the audience hear you, you have to know very well what you are saying. Sometimes having a clear voice is not just about technique. Of course, the craft is there. It needs to be there. But if you are unsure about what you say, the voice cannot leave you completely. This is what I find from my experience as an actor. And I find out, why the voice is not completely out. And maybe because they are not sure about what they are talking yet. Because, for example, I'm working with my year 2 in Shakespeare's. There's so many imageries, in the voice. What do you see when you say that word? And do you believe in what you see? And often, if they believe in what they see, their voice is very clear. And they literally just take the audience through their journey with their voice in the most beautiful way. So I think the sense of belief in what you say and knowing the responsibility of using your power really help us to have a clear voice. In a nutshell, I can explain it that way, I think.
When you say when you're unsure, the voice doesn't leave you completely.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
It means the voice coming back to you. Just, what I was just demonstrating that right now. So it feels that you're not exactly mumbling, but in order to let the voice and words travel and land on your listeners, you need to really let it out and don't reserve either your breath or your sound back to you, because the audience could feel it. You are not 100% sure of what you say, or you are not meaning what you are really saying. And one thing interesting is that the audience sees it all.
Even if you don't consciously
Yes.
comprehend it.
They might not have the, terminology or technical terms to explain how they feel, but they see it when you are unsure. And they see it when you are in your own head, and they see it when you are nervous. Everything is so revealing when you are on stage, or even face to face, sitting down. So be sure about what you say, I think is very essential. And that comes to self-assurance, security, feeling comfortable in your skin, that sort of thing. Yeah. It's all related.
It makes me think, actually, that the voice landing and allowing what we say to land, and a lot of that is believing in what we're saying.
Yeah.
And when we're unsure, we don't allow what we're saying to land. It comes back to us.
Yes.
Because we don't quite believe it.
Yeah.
And I kind of just had this thought that we do have people in powerful positions that are very influential, and that because their voice lands, because they believe and they're sure about what they say, even if it's not for the greater good,
Yes.
it still influences people because the voice is landing, because there's
Yes.
this belief in what they say.
Definitely. And I'm sure those powerful speaker that you talked about, they must have rehearsed what they said before they actually said it, or they've talked about it many, many times. Practice is essential. The idea of landing your voice to the audience, I learned this from theater. My years of experience in theater, or from watching good actors speak on stage, I learned that your voice needs to be out from you and land on the audience. And of course, an actor rehearse a lot for 2 months before they get up on stage. So they rehearse and rehearse. They keep refining what they want to say, and with their craft as well. And there's no difference from giving a keynote to an audience of 200 or even 500 or 50 people. The importance of practice is underrated in the commercial world, in my opinion. a lot of people think, oh, I've got the content, it's in my head, I'll be able to do it. But the actual speaking and voicing of your content is a new experience. You know, it's different from thinking it out loud in your head. So often I would emphasize the importance of practice. Yes. A lot of people think, oh, I've got a keynote, it's only 15 minutes. I'll prepare it on the flight or something, you know, but it's not enough.
Well, that's usually how much time people have, especially in the corporate world.
Yeah.
And I always, when I was presenting when I was in that full-time world, I think I used to shy away from practice because I wanted to seem authentic. I didn't want to seem, you know, overly rehearsed.
Yeah.
But actually, when I did practice, it landed more in me.
Yes.
When I spoke it out loud a few times, it landed more in me, and then came across.
Yes, and in addition to that, what I learned so preciously from theater performing experience is that the audience only have one chance to hear what you say, and each night in the audience member, there might be someone who sees theater the first time in their life, and there might be someone who sees theater the last time in their life. Whenever I perform, I try to remind myself of that. So you don't take the chance to share what you say lightly. Yes.
Yes, I love that. Two more questions before we finish today.
Yeah.
One is, what would you say about my voice?
Your voice is very gentle, very soft, very easy to listen to. But I don't mind a little bit more rigor in your voice. You can be more assured of yourself when you speak, I would say, in a general sense. Yes.
Yeah, and that's what we started working on, right?
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, it's.
I hope you don't mind, you know.
No, that's why I ask, and I think that's how we learn. That's how, and it's a big part of human growth. Is we ask others for feedback. How are we received? How do we land? And we don't know when it comes to our voice.
Feedback is so important. You know, on other sort of teachers training I worked on the Still voice training, which is a scientific way to look into voice production, and I've got valuable feedback when I did my, you know, sort of teaching observation sort of exam, and I received comments. I remember I've received comments like, make sure you are not yelling because it's a small room. And I do get passionate, you know, when I got carried away or when I teach, and I ended up yelling without knowing. And you know, these tiny reminders are so important sometimes.
Yeah, because we don't realize it.
Yeah.
I'm the opposite, I think, of you. Like for me, speaking loudly, I feel like I'm yelling.
Yeah.
But I'm like my gauge of what is being stronger in how I speak is I need to dial it up more for sure. So more rigor.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I'm working on. And last question, what is the most unconventional decision that you've made in your life or career?
Oh, me decided to go for drama school when I finished university.
Why was that unconventional?
Because my parents didn't quite understand nor believe in this path. And now looking back, I understand, you know, when you're in your late teens or early 20s, you've got different dreams you want to pursue, and you keep switching, you know, from one thing you like to the others sometimes. And but I think deep down, I truly know that being present in front of a big group of people is something beautiful. Yeah, now I can use this wording to describe what I was feeling, but I didn't quite know to articulate it. But I remember back then it was either go for drama school or doing nothing. You know, I couldn't think of anything else that I would like to do. So I was very determined. Doesn't matter how many people against the idea I was having, but I insist to pursue that, and that is the best decision I've made in my life. Yeah.
Yeah, because you are who you are. Like
Yes.
you are this is Billy, you
Yeah.
know, and it's interesting, isn't it, that often the unconventional decisions
Yeah.
are actually us making the decision to be who we truly are.
Yes. Agree?
Thank you, Billy.
Thank you, Natalie.
It's been a pleasure in this new environment.
Yes.
And to be continued.
Yes.